close to the coffee machine. And that's because I believe specialty baristas must be bringing people closer to coffee, to the moment, and to the experience itself, breaking down those barriers between consumers and baristas. And that's exactly what we're going to do today, starting with your first course of today. Your first coffee is for Espresso, and it comes from Panama, more precisely to the Volcan region, where 1,850 meters above the sea level, one of the most beautiful coffee farms in the world is located. It's called Hacienda Cañas Verde. Jose Lutrell is the owner and producer of this beautiful coffee forest, which is located on the southwest of the Barú volcan, causing a slower maturation of the cherries and resulting in higher complexity. This coffee was processed with Jose's latest improvement, which is a double-phase, submerged, anaerobic natural coffee, meaning that the cherries are picked and then sprayed with spring water for 24 hours to lock in all the fruitiness of this variety, which is a green tip geisha. In the second phase, the cherries are put in sealed bags, but this time in a river at 15 degrees to lock in all the complexity. The last phase of drying happens on raised beds for 25 days to highlight a tropical sweetness that you'll find today. We roasted it 20 days ago, approaching the first crack with a lower drop temperature and stretching the Maillard phase. This was done to ensure a sweeter and cleaner finish today in your espresso. We'll be back at it a little bit later. But first, I believe the role of a specialty barista is also to guide his customers through the tasting, just like a sommelier does with a glass of wine, to respect and enhance the raw material, breaking down those barriers between consumers and baristas. And that's exactly what I would love today to do with you. And I'd love to do that by tasting that fifth sort that I just brewed in front of you, in order to give you the most accurate sensory experience possible. The recipe today for your espresso is 20 grams in and 38 grams out, brewed at a temperature of 92 degrees, as we found that this temperature was the best to highlight the balance between taste, tactile, and flavors. Now, as you can see in front of you, I'm bringing you espressos in these special cups, and they have a new feature. Thanks to that tool, indeed, I'm able to cool down the temperature of your espresso down to 45 degrees, holding all the volatile aromatic compounds and keeping the crema inside. But don't worry, once I'm going to serve it to you, I'll be removing this tool, just like I'll do it now with my personal espresso. This will highlight the sensory experience. In your espresso today, you will find a pleasant acidity, which is medium and citric. The sweetness is medium and tropical, with a low to medium bitterness, but very pleasant. The weight is medium-low, with a juicy texture. You'll find flavors of blood orange, peach, pineapple, and honey that also stays in the aftertaste, making a sweet and clean finish. Now it's time also for you to enjoy this espresso. So please come to this other side of the table. Here you can find some fresh water and some summarizing cards in front of you with all the coffee information. But first, I'm going to ask you to evaluate your personal crema. Just bring your personal one, please. There you go. Awesome. And now I'll be removing this tool, making sure your espresso is well mixed. So today, you don't need a spoon. And I'm going to ask you to have 2 sips, both of them from the deepest part of the cup. This is done to ensure you have the best sensory experience. Now, this was our first step, breaking down those barriers between consumers and baristas. Can't wait to see you in the next one. Please enjoy. So now, once you're ready, we can move to our second course of today, and that will be the milk beverage. Ready? Awesome. Now, I believe the key for a specialty barista is also to combine different words, getting inspired by other industries within the hospitality. So last March, I began a new experiment with a great Italian local winery based in Franciacorta, just nearby Milan, named Monterossa. So I went there and I took their autochthon Saccharomyces yeast, the same one that they used to ferment their wine, and I brought them to Colombia, more precisely to the Huila region, where at 1,600 meters above the sea level, Finca Peñas Blancas is located. My goal was to elevate the quality of your coffee, also in the milk beverage, as I believe that this should be done by every barista, to be a specialty barista, like combining different words. So today I'm very proud and happy to present you our first results together, and the best one as well, which is a Cheiroso variety that was inoculated with 15 grams of this particular yeast in 10 liters of mosto, and then activated for 5 days, and then anaerobically fermented. This to highlight some fruity notes that you will find today in your milk beverage. The final drying that happens in a pre-steam machine, controlling temperature and humidity to highlight the sweetness. The recipe of your milk beverage today is 22 grams in, 22 grams out, to have a kick of intensity. And I'm adding 60 mils of a special blend of milk, made of 60% freeze distilled cow's milk, 30% of oat milk, and 10% of coconut milk, steamed at 50 degrees to achieve a creamy texture and flavors of peach yogurt, blueberry, white chocolate, and a hint of cookie that stays in the finish, making it very coating. So today, for your milk beverage, you do not need a spoon. So I'm going to start with you. Again, please enjoy, and please enjoy. Now, as you may know, Italy makes some incredible wines. So when I handed this yeast to Joan Vergara, the producer at Finca Peñas Blancas, I immediately knew that we could make something as good. This was our second step today. And I believe this coffee truly represents me, because I also started my career in wine. Then when I joined coffee, I felt like my knowledge was getting wider thanks to it. And this is what I believe is often missing to be a specialty barista. Please enjoy. Alrighty, so whenever you're ready, we can move to our last course of today. So please, just turn around. And welcome once again, but this time to the last course. For my signature drink today, I would love to combine two other words. This time, these are fine dining and mixology. Combining different words, but also creating a new immersive experience altogether, including you as my head judge. And I'll start with 4 shots of that chirroso that you had before that I put in the hyper chiller to avoid any dilution and astringency. Now we can start with our first ingredient of today, which is coffee saccharum. They're made by vacuuming equal parts coffee pucks, sugar, and water for 24 hours. When I add 2 cl of this, we'll highlight the sweetness, giving you a new note of cardamom. This represents the fine dining industry. Our second ingredient of today is an extract of sphylantol, which is an active molecule coming from an electrical flower. I know it might sound a bit complicated, so you still have some summarizing cards in front of you. I made this in the rota vapor through a non-alcoholic distillation for 40 minutes. Now, when I add 2 cl of this, we'll highlight the floral notes, giving you a new note of ginger and a sweet, tingling finish in the aftertaste. Our third ingredient of today is a very special product. This is mosto, the same mosto that was used to process your chirroso variety before. I'm lucky enough to have this sent straight away from Colombia. Now, obviously, this represents the coffee industry. This is pre-dosed because it's really precious. I'm adding 4 cl to highlight the berry-like note, giving you a new note of strawberry in your signature drink. And our last ingredient is 1 espresso, so 2 cl of that geisha from Hacienda Cañas Verde that you had before, that I previously brewed while I was pulling my personal espresso shot. This is done to balance out all the boozy notes of chirroso, giving you a new note of chinotto. And now, I would love to create an immersive experience, all of us together, including you. So for today, I would love you to choose one of those colors you have in front of you, just by pressing one of those buttons, please. Amazing. So today, you have some red colors in your signature drink. For your signature drink, I got inspired by the omakase, which in Japanese translates to I leave it up to you. In the omakase sessions, the chefs cook in front of the customers, creating a new immersive experience altogether, and breaking down those barriers between consumers and chefs. What I'm doing now is to stabilize the temperature of those ice spheres that I made before with blood orange, cooking them with liquid nitrogen at minus 198 degrees. This was done to avoid any dilution in your signature drink. And now, when I add 3 of these ice spheres per each glass, for a total of 30 grams, you will have a refreshing drink. And I'm able to cool down the temperature down to 14 degrees. But first, we're going to charge all our ingredients with nitrogen to improve the texture. In your drink today, you will find a smooth texture with flavors of cardamom, ginger, strawberry, and chinotto with a sweet, tingling finish in the aftertaste. I'm going to ask you to drink it in 2 different sips. In the first one, please just enjoy the beautiful taste and the tactile, while in the second, you can look for flavor notes. I just want to call my time, please. Now, this is my idea of specialty coffee, through the role of a specialty barista. I believe we should create new immersive experiences all together, getting inspired by other words, and breaking down those barriers between consumers and baristas. This, to me, is a true definition of specialty barista. Time.